It means a bit further, they're willing to report corruption with their names, identifying themselves. If you want to stand up. So this will be a good yardstick or checking on the effectiveness of any country. Is how many complaints you receive. It's not necessarily the more complaints you receive means that the more successful you are, because people will just fed up to do more than to report corruption. And then of the complaints you receive, how many of them are prepared to identify themselves? This is a confidence factor. Confidence factor. So in most of the country, maybe 1 or 10 complaints are those who are prepared to identify themselves. But in Hong Kong, you know how much? 80% of the complaints received by us are identifiable. Means every 5 complaints, 4 are those who prepared to identify. What does that mean? It means that they have total confidence on the commission. They believe that when they make the report, nobody will know. They will keep it confidential and they will deal with it properly. I don't need to worry that once I make a report, tomorrow I'll get shot. Okay? So this is important. Enhance the economic growth. So Philippines actually is not alone. So don't downgrade Philippines too much. When we talk about corruption, I've been in 23 countries. Actually, most of them are just as corrupt, if not more than the Philippines. So this is a common scenario. Not particular. Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, in former Soviet countries, they all share the same problem of corruption. And as a result, many countries set up anti-corruption agencies. So I have a quick breakdown, and these are the countries in Asia that have an anti-corruption agency. So Philippines having 87, Singapore is the first one, Malaysia, and then Hong Kong. Okay. And we share the same problem. So honestly, I don't really have done a scientific research in this country. It was the last time I was here is June last year. Yeah. So I lost touch with what happened in Hong Kong, what happened in the Philippines. But I think it's fairly accurate to say that what's wrong, because they're all similar in my view. So what's wrong? This would be the sort of thing that the anti-corruption agency lack of resources, so they can do the job. In many countries, probably some of the anti-corruption agencies have 10 persons, so what do you expect? Okay, and then there's a lack of independence, which means that they are subject to political interference all the time. Wrong strategy, I can't force the right strategy. Inadequate law, this is the second point. I disagree with this report. They said that Commission, the Philippines have good anti-corruption law. I don't agree. I tell you why. And then inadequate jurisdiction means that for example, here this is part of the law. There is a corruption offense in the public sector, but in the business sector, it's not an offense. This is ridiculous. So how can you say good anti-corruption law? Lack of public credibility and support, lack of coalition. You have a corrupt judiciary. I'm not saying Philippines, but in many countries. I'm not sure about Philippines, may or may not be. Lack of professionalism, lack of public accountability, and then at the end of the day, there's two keywords when we talk about fighting corruption. The rest doesn't matter. Two keywords. It's whether there is political will. So when people ask you about fighting corruption, you say, I know about fighting corruption. Two keywords. Political will. If there's political will, then you will succeed. If there's no political will, you will never succeed. Never succeed. Okay? So I'd like you to at least know after this hour that when people ask you, what were the key success factor in turning the poor place into a clean place, what should the Philippines do? Just remember this lucky egg, the 8 factors. So try to remember the 8 factors. If you have done all the 8 factors, then you can fight corruption. As simple as that. First one, strategy. When you fight corruption, there should be a 3-point approach. 3-point approach means through education, prevention, and enforcement. This is actually no big deal because it is common sense. It's just like you have a university student going to work in the public sector. What would the university try to prepare him? Educate him so that he knows the ethical value. And I'm sure you're doing that. So that he knows that when I leave this university, I'll be an honest person. And if you succeed, then this guy no longer should be a problem. Okay, so education. But you always succeed? Of course not. Okay, so then what do? Then you make it difficult for him to be corrupt. How? So this is what called about this system control. How to improve the system so that make it difficult for him to be involved. And then, but for a lot of them, particularly those in the hierarchy, you cannot educate them, you cannot prevent them, and then there's only one way. There's only one way is to prevent him to go to the United States. There's only way that is to get him to the jail instead of the United States. There's only one simple message: enforcement. Okay, as simple as that. So when we fight corruption, remember there is a three-point approach, and then we need to fight corruption through all the three-point approach. You can't just based on enforcement. How many people can you catch? But you have to fight corruption through enforcement as well as prevention as well as public education. Okay, does it make sense? And actually for those MBA things, this three-point approach applies to many things. And when you have a problem, you think about what kind of preventive measure I should do. You have a drug problem in this country, so you think about what kind of preventive measure I should do, what kind of education I should do, what kind of enforcement I should do, right? So this is for public policy thing, this is very good. Next one. So that's why in ICC we have three distinct departments and recruiting different kind of expertise and professionals to do the job. Now we have a management expert, MBA, whatever, accountants, they work on corruption prevention, they look at the system. PR experts and educational experts, etc. They work in the public education department, we call it community relations. And then those who are responsible for investigation, we work in the operations department for investigation. Okay. Just see how the university people think of this three-point approach. Of these three approaches, all the three are important. But tell me, honestly, which one should be the priority? Which one is the most important? Education, university, education. Who believe that education is the most important? Please raise your hand. 1, good. 2, good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15. Minority. Minority. Prevention. Who believe that prevention, system control is the priority? 1. Haven't you heard about prevention is better than cure? But it's only 2. Enforcement. Okay, my conclusion is that the large majority have gone into sleep. Okay, yeah. In Hong Kong, we believe that and three are important, but enforcement is the most important. In fact, you should get the tips because I just said about procurement. System is good at the end of the day unless it is supported by enforcement. Why is enforcement important? Because, as I said, it's a perception game, perception war. And how to get the people to believe that the government is genuinely fighting corruption? How? There's only one way, a big fish case. That's why all these people, all these presidents fail in the past because we never see anyone having a big fish case.